Good afternoon, Miss. I'm going to discuss the guidance services offered by the San Ysidro National High School to their students. So we have the general objective. The guidance program aims to help develop and enhance students' potential that will make them more capable of meeting the challenges of modern times, thereby assist in the realization of San Ysidro National High School the philosophy that education is the key in empowering poverty. Furthermore, the San Isidro National High School Guidance Office serves as an instrument in helping students develop a career plan that will make them competitive individuals who will be engaged in the task of uplifting the quality of life in the community. The San Isidro National High School Guidance Office also assists parents, teachers, and other school personnel find solutions to their professional problems. Specific objectives. Thus, the Guidance and Counseling Center further aims to assist the students in making the necessary adjustment in coping with academic, emotional, personal expectation, and difficulties. Guide the students toward better self-understanding and integration through seminar, webinar, workshop to foster a harmonious interrelationship in school, home, and community. Guide the students in knowing and accepting oneself and develop this to the fullest. Next, action plan or the services given by the guidance office. This school year 2021-2022, we have activity, objective, possible outcome, the participants, the facilitator, date to be accomplished, and then the venue. So number one activity, we have orientation. We have a lot of orientation. We have student orientation, parents orientation, even teachers orientation. So we have our induction, TIP, teachers induction program, especially for the new teacher, no. Okay, so what is the objective? To foster awareness regarding the services of the guidance office among teachers, parents, and students. The possible outcome will be the teachers, parent, and student will be informed of the guidance services and activities for the entire school year. They will also get to know the counselors and of course, their role in the community. Of the participants, we have teachers, students, parents, and the staff in San Isidro National High School. Facilitator, the guidance coordinators, and ICT coordinator because it's more on the technology side. This will be accomplished September 10, 2021 via Google Meet. And next, we have distribution and assessment of the student's profile. So actually, it's a must to have this profile of the student for the guidance office and the subject teacher or advisor is for them to know the background, no? Ito, to gather, this is the objective, to gather vital information about the students that will be helpful in their counseling because we already know the students, so we can give proper attack, proper delivery of the words, no? And also perhaps the how to deal with a certain student because we know already their backgrounds, family structure, strength, weaknesses, and the like. So possible outcome of this activity, the coordinators will understand the students better as they become knowledgeable of the student's family background and so on. That's what I'm saying earlier. And with this, the counselors will know how to assist certain students in their course, and also the participants of the activity, all students, guidance coordinator, the assessment will be found in the Google Forms posted in the Google Classroom. Number 3, guidance interview for student under academic probation, and also in addition, it is an interview with all their problems. Perhaps they can share it with the staff, with the guidance staff. So the objective, to inform students of their academic probation status and motivate them to perform better with regards to academics, to determine possible reasons of their academic performance for the academic probation status of the new enrolled student. The coordinator, rather, will be able to identify the possible reasons for the academics probation status. And also, the new student will be aware of their academic probation status and they will be motivated to study well. The participants, all students under academic probation, those students who are at risk of dropping out, the NLPA, facilitator, guidance coordinators, ICT coordinators, and advisors. So, it will be conducted this coming September 15 to 30, 2021 by Google Meet or Facebook video call. We also have new in the FB. We have classroom FB rooms. So we can cater at least 50 person in the FB room. Okay, next 4. Follow-up. So we have the initial interview and then we come out with a certain parang action plan to those students who are under academic probation status. So therefore, after the intervention, we are going to have the follow-up guidance interview for academic probation student. So find out whether academic status is lifted or retained. Meron bang na-resolve dun sa ginawang intervention, ginawang resolution. So find out what factors contribute to the retainment of their academic probation status. If they are, what would be the factors contributing to the retainment of the students. The guidance counselor will know if the students under academic probation perform better in class. If the main reason of the retainment of the academic probation status of the student points to the school, for example, the teacher was not able to discuss the lessons well, that's why the students got low grades, for example, then the student will be referred to the academic assistant. So, at least may backup. Okay, so, who are the participants? Of course, the students under probation, the guidance coordinator, the facilitator, and of course, it will be conducted this coming October 2021 to June 2022 via Google Meet. Next, enrichment sessions. So in enrichment session, it included dito yung discussing how to have a good study habits, and also let's move to objective, to provide added knowledge for students and teachers that will tap on their personality development and other areas of interest that will be beneficial to their teaching career for the teacher, and self-growth also for the student. The outcome, the teachers and students will be able to use the learning they have gained from their enrichment sessions that will reflect self and professional growth. Teachers and staff, students, that's the participants. So what are the example of enrichment sessions? We have the inset in service training for teachers. See, it's a series of webinars under ACAP project by the Division of Rizal, wherein we try to embrace all the students, not to avoid NLPA, the lagging behind student. So that's for the teacher. And also we have the professional enrichment for the teacher, webinars, mental health awareness, God webinars, and the like. There's a lot of webinars all throughout the year. Sometimes sometimes we have webinars in a minute given by the higher up. Sometimes it's and most of the time it's actually part of the school year. For example, the anti-bawsi, the anti-drugs, the about smoking cigarettes, something like that, and God of webinars, etiquette in using social media, anti-bawsi, mental health, and so on. facilitator, guidance coordinator, assisted by the ICT coordinator. No, oh, it will be hold on August 2021, September 2021, October 2021, respectively, via Google Meet. And also, we have leadership or training seminar. Its aim is to develop self-confidence that leads to a greater sense of leadership and independence among class officers. Thus, the class officers will gain self-confidence and discover more about their leadership skills. Student council officer, ESP officer, section officers, guidance coordinator, the facilitator, no, resource speaker, ICT coordinator. It will be held on September to October 2021 via Google Meet or MS Teams. And then also, the Love Courtship Marriage webinar to enhance the awareness of the students regarding love, courtship, marriage, sex, and other gender issues. It's part of the GAD webinars, no, GAD series of webinars. The student will increase awareness on love, courtship, marriage, sex, and other gender issues, all level, grade 7 to 10. The facilitator, guidance coordinators, ICT coordinator, it will be conducted this coming December 2021 via Google Classroom and Google Meet. Next, we have admission placement assistance to grade 10 students to attend the needs and queries of grade 10 students regarding admission placement to senior high school. The grade 10 student will assist in accomplishing application recommendation forms in their application to other senior high school. The grade 10 students, participants, the facilitator, guidance coordinator, advisor. It will happen November 21, 2020, June 2022 by Google Meet. Then we have the exit interview for the grade 10 to find out if the Ysidronian values and the grade 10 completer have imbibed and how Ysidronian education has prepared them for senior high school. So the school will know that Ysidronian values have instilled in the students and how much the school has prepared them for senior high school. So of course, the participants, person involved, the grade 10 students. Facilitator, guidance coordinator, it will happen by June to July 2022 via Google Meet. Next, number 11, reporting of the performance profile. It will be reported consolidated. It is to inform the faculty of the profile of the achievement level of the students from grade 7 to 10, to assess factors that may have contributed to the test result. So what will happen, what would be the possible outcome, awareness on the institutional performance level of the students among the members of the academy. The whole SNHS community is expected to reinforce the areas where the students perform well and to improve and develop the areas where the students displayed inferior performance. Participants, of course, the SNHS faculty and staff, facilitator, guidance coordinator, June 2022 by Google Meet. And then we have the activity, the career guidance, to help the students choose the right career, the right path. Actually, we have career guidance from grade 9 up to grade 10. So we also included grade 9, as early as grade 9. The students will be aware of what strand and track they're going to take that is suited to them. The participants, grade 10 students, guidance coordinators, grade 10 teachers, advisors, they are the facilitator. January 2022, next year, by Google Meet, Google Classroom. 13, reducing dropout, the NLPA. It stands for no longer participating in learning activities. It is a status of learner whose parent or guardian or even the learner has failed to communicate or has not made any efforts to contact class advisors for at least 7 consecutive weeks. So the students, even the guardian, were given 7 consecutive at least 7 consecutive weeks to contact their subject teachers, the advisor, and also the school, no? This is ayan. So what would be the objective? To help students achieve academically and participates in all learning activities. by giving enrichment activities and close monitoring to the students using ACAP by DepEd Rizal, such as home visitation, virtual visitation, messenger kamustahan, and so on. There will be a decrease of dropout, or that's the possible outcome, or the NLPA. So we have the participants, SI, NHS, faculty, and also, of course, the student, facilitator, guidance coordinators. It is all year-round activity. We as DepEd public school teacher, and also the San Ysidro National High School, aim to have the zero dropout rate. So at least 100% the participant, the active 100% active participation of this learner. Okay, this is via Google Meet. So giving intervention remediation to the student. Okay, thank you, ma'am, and mabuhay. God bless po. Now I'm going to discuss the evaluation of the guidance services in San Ysidro National High School. A research study submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements in MAGC 205, Organization, Administration, Supervision of Guidance and Counseling. Introduction. San Ysidro National High School is a public secondary junior high school located in Sitio Tanag, San Isidro, Rodriguez, Rizal. No high school of its own until June 30 of 2003. So, in the school year 2003-2004, we have 92 enrollees. 92 enrollees, students, completed the first year curriculum, and also, under its new home, because of the new management and management and home, the school enrollment began to swell largely because of the transferees from 3rd and 4th year levels. So there is change in venue of the school from barangay barangay hall. They moved to proper place donated by the Cecilio Hernandez, former mayor, former barangay in San Isidro. So, because of the new home and new administrator, the school enrollment began to swell largely because of the transferees from 3rd and 4th year levels. So, due to the increasing of student, so we have the 4-year levels offered. So, for the past 18 years, the school considered as a big school now because of the number of teachers, enrollment, achievement, physical development, and also the MOOE. So, from 92 students in the school year of 2003-2004, so we have 4,245 now in the school year 2020 to 2021. It consists of obviously large scale of students that need to be taken care of, and because of the health problems worldwide brought by the COVID-19 and Delta variant, all schools, including the San Isidro National High School, were affected. So the DepEd find ways to continue learning despite of the situation. So they introduced distance learning, specifically the online learning, modular learning. So, as I was saying, the increase of population, variety of student, relocatees, middle class, upper class, and then the COVID-19, the Delta variant, that considered distance learning has come the necessity for assisting young people to determine their abilities, skills training, and so on. So that's why all those stated changes, innovation and problems like COVID-19 and Delta variant, there's a need to revisit, to reevaluate the guidance program, the guidance services offered to the students. Especially, we have different kind of learning style, So before we have face-to-face, now we have virtual learning, we have distance learning. So as Parwell and Peter speaking of what is guidance, they stated recent years guidance services have come to recognize as an integral part of the modern ongoing school system. Dapat these services are viewed as facilitating the adjustment of the individual so that may approach the daily task of being his optimal best psychologically, sociologically, and physiologically. And also, according to Duns, Rower, and Miller, believe there is a vital need for sound and comprehensive guidance service for every pupil in every school. Kasi sinasabi nga the heart of education is the heart of the school, the heart of education is the guidance and counseling. Guidance seeks to help individual discover his own talent in comparison to the opportunities of the world and help him prepare himself so that he can find or develop a place in which he can live a well-balanced life and contribute his part to the welfare of his fellow men. So in order to establish those things, a developed guidance program in our local school, we must find some ways of stimulating the individual teachers to evaluate themselves and their guidance service. No one can appreciate properly any service if he does not see the need for its perspective. If teachers see guidance in the true light, they will meet their guidance responsibilities with more enthusiasm. And according to Crison, Jones observed that the purpose of guidance is to assist the individual through counsel to make wise choices, adjustment, interpretation in connection with critical situation in his life in such a way as to ensure continual growth, ability for self-direction. With this purpose in mind, the problem is clear and can be stated. What is being done in the field of guidance in San Ysidro National High School, special this time of health problems, no? This time of COVID, of viruses. So what more could and should be done to develop a well-rounded and practical guidance program? How can the program be instituted and directed so as to fulfill its purpose? The purpose of this study is to evaluate the effectiveness of the guidance services offered to the student in San Ysidro National High School. Ayan, so, the evaluation of the guidance program encompasses student, teacher, administrative guidance staff with reference to reviews to the adequacy of the present guidance services. It is hoped that this study will encourage students and staff to evaluate their part in the guidance program and bring to mind services that are available to them. So method, we're going to use research technique in preparing this research study, including the questionnaire interview methods. So questionnaire were sent to the principal, teachers, guidance counselor of San Ysidro National High School to gather basic data for this evaluation. Copies of the questionnaire is in the Google form. That's why it's very easy to ask the students, the 4,245 students, to answer the inventory, the questionnaire. Yan. So the interview technique was used to great extent. At different times, the principal and all the faculty were questioned via Google Meeting regarding virtual classroom, guidance practices, and procedures. Parents and community leaders, graduates, and LPA were also asked. We were interviewed 140 teachers, 4,245 students virtually, and also by giving them Google Forms, no, so as to determine their criticism of the present program and their desire for expanding the program. The study was carried out as part of the requirements in the graduate school and at the same time as part of the school's yearly evaluation plan in the guidance office headed by the researcher. The teachers and guidance coordinator were asked to list areas with the guidance department they felt needed evaluation based on the guidance services action plan for the school year 2020 to 2021. These lists were compiled and services provided. Okay, so the student inventory were organized so that the student would only have to answer 10 questions. So it's all about how to the process, no, the method of gathering data. Administering questionnaire. The advisor were asked to have administered the questionnaire to the student via Google form, send it through their Facebook Messenger group chat. Teachers were encouraged to help students with questions. If the student have question, they will answer it, no? To enlighten the student. Okay. So we have also employee questionnaire sent to the school group chat for easy access. The result, the purpose of this study was to identify strengths and weaknesses in the guidance program services in San Ysidro National High School as indicated by student and staff. These areas had been identified and can now be used in reorganizing the San Ysidro National High School Guidance Program. As San Ysidro National High School programs in general are being developed, this information will help. It's a great help to it's a great help in planning activities that will better meet the needs of the students. Each member of the school staff is involved in the findings of this study and will have to evaluate his part of the program. It's an effort to meet every student's needs. This can be accomplished by using the information to improve each staff member's part in the function of the guidance program. Conclusion. The following conclusions were derived from findings indicated in the study. So, for example, in the personal counseling, students feel they can discuss their personal problems with their guidance counselor with the project app, using the project app. It can be virtually or face-to-face home visitation. They feel they have been helped in their personal and social adjustment through the use of visual animation, of course, and using the technique of SOLVE project. The students are not having an adequate number of case conferences with their 140 guidance coordinators and teachers. So that's actually one of the problem. Although the result is they can easily they can discuss their personal problem with their guidance counselor. They can, but they cannot. They can discuss it but that's the decision is they not to discuss it with the guidance counselor for the reason that published between the students and the guidance coordinator. Ayan. The staff thought, the students, okay, they need, the guidance office need to discuss their cumulative record the students need to discuss the cumulative record more with their guidance coordinator. The staff should thought there was a need for improved personal virtual counseling with students. It's not counseling, for virtual and for personal and virtual kamustahan with students. Cumulative records need to be more informative relative to students' background. Need also to consider the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Students need more effective help in planning an educational program, more and better informational materials, print out and soft copy, virtual, are needed to help students in personal and social development. In career counseling, student field guidance service have helped them in their vocation planning. They have material available. They are updated with all the webinars intended for students. They are thinking and planning for the future, and they are being helped toward presenting themselves to employers in an impressive manner. Students feel, however, they need more webinars with the guidance staff on mental health, since most of the students were affected mentally by the pandemic. Their parents lost their job. There's a lot of tasks in the module and also in the online classes. There's a lot of stress, no? So that's why there's an alarming so we need to address the mental health issue of our student. So placement services are provided for student, but they feel the services are inadequate. True. Staff members feel students are making realistic course selection. So group counseling, the homeroom guidance via Google Meet, student feel group counseling is meeting their needs. They feel group counseling is inadequate it's the teachers feel that counseling is inadequate, and students don't have the opportunity to participate in group counseling. School virtual orientation, students indicated they have given orientation to the school and feel they can explain the guidance program to a new student. The staff feel there are orientation services in the guidance program, but the majority either feel these services are inadequate or they are undecided as to how effective they are. In testing, students indicated they are being helped to understand their test scores, but they have not have discussed with their guidance coordinator or their ability and achievement test result, which is true. From the time immemorial, I think it's not part of the guidance coordinator in a public school, in our school, to discuss in toto, to discuss individually their test result, their achievement test result, about career, about their career. The staff feel that there is a need of the standardized testing program at the school, which is true. In a public school, there is no standardized test. Thus, it is inadequate to meet the needs of the student. Study skills. Both students and staff indicated an adequate program to assist students develop effective study skills, which is the enrichment session as stated in the guidance program that I tackled earlier. Disciplinary procedures not that met in the distance learning, which is true. The school must find ways on how to deal with the misbehavior of the students in this type of learning. Students feel that staff has not been too strict with them when they become involved in behavioral problems. For the reason that there is child protection policy, that's why those that the staff, even the teachers, not that strict to avoid issues, to avoid problem, to avoid complaint, no, from the parents, no. So 20% of the students were undecided on how they were helped with behavioral problems. So the value of the guidance programs, students feel the guidance program is of value to them while they are getting their education. Guidance planning and administrative procedures. Then the staff indicated there is a need for better administrative support of the guidance program. So they feel there is a need for cooperative guidance learning. And there's a problem because if the guidance office has these events, it's only you who will act. So there should be a cooperative guidance learning. Example, teachers need to have their responsibilities clearly defined in the guidance program. Inset, the in-service training guidance staff members are interested in in-service training subjects that are directly related to working with the student. They would like these areas included in the program or services. So the study led to a comprehensive guidance program to meet the learner's needs, especially this time of urgency. Based on the study, there are steps to be taken to formulate a well-rounded guidance services offered to students are the following. Organize coordination meetings between departments involving administration, teachers, and coordinators. Coordinate activities to improve personal counseling is needed. Case conferences, more informative cumulative records, improved assistance in planning and an educational program, and informational materials. Now, to help students in personal and social development, there are areas needing attention in the continued development of the guidance program. First, guidance staff members need to assist students in gathering information on senior high school education. Students need to be assisted in making course selection, the track that will benefit them most of their educational program. This can be accomplished through conferences with the student. Evaluate the group counseling program at San Ysidro National High School and develop opportunities for all students to participate in group counseling session. So develop group counseling techniques throughout the guidance staff. Have meetings to go over orientation procedure and see where improvements can be made. Assign committees of guidance, which is in need of the committee, academic, career, student to plan, organize activities they will meet the needs of the student. Develop meaningful testing program that is suited for Ysidronian student, including conferences with students to assist them in understanding their test result. Guidance planning meetings need to include the total school staff to get support from the administration and assist staff members in understanding their responsibilities in the development of an operation of the guidance program. 8. Include subjects directly related to working with students in the in-service training program. Example, leadership training, information student, in student background, social and graces, alcohol, drugs, arts, crops, and behavior modification. Staff members seem to be uncertain in many cases as to the effectiveness of the guidance services. This indicates a need for a better understanding and more involvement in the guidance program. So we have the references and also the questionnaire. Yes, we have the questionnaire. Thank you so much, ma'am.